session is must know Excel formulas. Okay, so for some of us, I think this might be a refresher. For then again, for some of us, it might be something that you will find also like very almost as if you're hearing it, some aspect of it for the first time. So I won't take too much of our time. I will dive straight into the session. And okay, so let me just ensure I don't have too much background noise. Good. Our sponsors, as usual, remains Financial Modeling Institute, FMI. And some of you have been hearing me say that we are planning to do, which we thought we would do it in December, a mock exam. So for those who want to do the AFM, the Advanced Financial Modeling exam, just reach out to me and we'll ensure that the first batch of mock exam we are doing, you get free access, like you won't pay. So you come to us if you are writing the exam. It's a 4 hours exam, and we'll time you, we'll grade you, so gives you a bit of shall I say a much closer to real life, dummy run of the exam, so that you will know if you are truly prepared for it. So, and as usual, they give us a discount code. So again, reach out to us and I'll be happy to send you the discount code so you don't pay full amount for the exam. And also there is UrBizEdge, and we also have courses running for those of us, like I see Adetayo, and those who might be watching the recording who have been to our previous training center. We've moved office now, so we are now, it's confusing, but let me just say we are opposite GT Bank. In Antony, there's only one GT Bank in Antony. So if you even want to come and say hi to us in our new office, feel free. We made it modern, so we have like the latest gadgets for training. At least we have somewhere, we made it very 21st century, like to improve the experience of our participants. So that's the end of the intro. Let's go straight into the sessions for today. So what are those formulas that I say they are must know? Okay, I'm going to start first with the E formula. So I'll be a bit fast because I see that we are regulars. Those of us in this session are not really new. So, I'm going to just not slow down as I would slow if it was a class of people who are really, really new to Excel. So let's start with the E formula, right? So we all understand that Excel, the power of Excel lies in the ability for you to automate things. So E formula is one of those very important formula because it allows you to set that, you check for a condition. And then two things can happen. Yes, the condition was met. No, the condition was not met, right? So with if formula, right, you can say if it evaluates to yes, Excel should do A, B, C. And it evaluates to no, Excel should do maybe something completely different. And this is the bedrock of programming. When we write VBA programs, like Visual Basic for Application programs, you do a lot of if. You do if statements a lot more than you even do if inside of Excel. So the same logic that you know in Excel is the same thing that carries on into the VBA. But like I said, let's just quickly see how much I can help us to remember and maybe add a bit of extra to what we know. So a very common use, especially for those of us in the finance domain, is to do things related to bonus, related to interest, related to things that are percentage based, VAT, bonus payment, tax, So let's start. Let us go with what I have here, so I'll be a bit faster. So we have a condition where we say you will get 5% bonus if you do more than 1 million naira. Okay. So what are we saying? We are saying that minimum range percentage bonus. So what are we saying? We're saying if you do minimum, so in this case now, in fact, 1,000, 1,000,001. So as long as you do one kobo above 1 million, you're eligible, right? So this is like 1 million and above. We're going to give you 5%. Okay. So how do we do the condition? Equal to if, right? The condition I'm testing for. So this, is it greater than 1 million? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, another thing I tell people sometimes, because when people write all these formulas that involve a lot of zeros, they make mistakes sometimes in this. I say, okay, you can do 1E6. You're using the scientific notation. Maybe I'll show you later. So 1E6 is the same thing as 1 million. This is the same thing as 1 and 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, but if you don't want to count and make errors or limit your errors, you can just say 1 and 6 zeros. So if the answer is true, then what you do, right, times 5%. If the answer is no, then you get 0 bonus, right? And then I do enter, right? So this is the condition we are checking for. This is the answer if true. And this is the answer, when the answer is no, like you did not meet the condition. So this is quite straightforward. We're going to increase it a bit, but let's first start gradually. So this is this, right? And that's the beauty of if formulas. You do it once and you drag down. So the moment I drag it down, what happens is that it applies for every other person. Okay, so now let's begin to turn up the complexity gradually. So what of if there is, it's not just anybody. We want to say between 1 million and, I don't know, 2 million. That's where you get the 5%. Then 2 million. And above, you get 7%. So there are 3 options. There are 3 options. Whenever you have multiple conditions, you can use if, you can use ifs, and you can use VLOOKUP. So I'm going to do all the 3 options, right? So that we will see how it works. So I'm going to drag these here. I need 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that everything we show, let me just, okay, good. So let's say this is if. This will be ifs. And this will be VLOOKUP. So let's see how we are going to capture these conditions using those 3 different formulas. With if, it's what we call nested if. So if this is, so one thing I tell people is that when you are nesting ifs, always start from an extreme. Start from an extreme. If you even ask me, I would say start from the upper extreme, which is more like upper range. And if you look at what's the upper range is, this is the upper range now. Okay, so if I'm following that rule, life will be easy. You won't it minimizes the amount of errors that you can have in your if formula. So I'm going to say if this is, I start with the upper extreme, which is this one, 2 million. So if this is greater than 2 million, if this is greater than 2 million, 2 is 6, right? I will say it should give us the bonus, which is 7%. So it should be this times, let's even pick the bonus from here so that, so I pick that bonus. Okay, good. And then, if the answer is no, right, then we need to check, is it greater than 1 million? Okay, so that's, you now do another if. So you always go from the upper and then lower. So if you have 3 conditions, you have 2 ifs. So the number of if is always equal to the conditions minus 1. Here we have 3 conditions. You are either 2 million and above, 1 million to 2 million, or less than 1 million. Those are 3 conditions, right? So we will use 2 ifs. So that's going to be now again, is it greater than 1 million? Right? If the answer is yes, then this times this bonus. Okay. And I close the bracket. Well, in this case, before I even close the bracket, if the answer is no, you are not greater than 2 million. You are also not greater than 1 million. So what happens? It means that you are obviously not going to get any bonus. Okay, so the bonus will be 0. And then I close the brackets. So this is if. Again, always start from the upper range, whatever the person is supposed to get. Another if, the next range, whatever the person is supposed to get. In our own case, we have 3 conditions. You are less than 0. I mean, you are less than 1 million, you get 0. You are between 1 million and 2 million, you get 5%. You are above 2 million, you get 3%. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 conditions. So that's why I have 2 ifs. The number of ifs you will have will be equal to the conditions minus 1. So this is it now. If I drag this down, we can go test it. When we are at 2 million, you see, you're still getting 5% because 2 million is not above. But now if I change this to 2 million point, 0.110 naira, you see that this person is now getting 7%, right? So it's working according to the conditions we have here. So now the next thing is, how could I have achieved this same but using ifs? So let's see, ifs is like an improvement on if. Allows you to, you see that plural means you can add multiple conditions. So in this case, ifs, I will also tell you that keep to the rule of starting from the upper or one extreme. I prefer starting from the upper extreme. So again, what will I say? Is this greater than 2 million, right? So if this is greater than 2 million, okay. So if this is greater than 2 million, let me zoom again. If this is greater than 2 million, what should be the outcome? The outcome should be what you did times the percentage, which is the 7%. Okay. So that's condition. I test for one condition. I put the answer when the condition is met. So I have another condition to test for. Remember, we have 3 conditions actually. So I want to also check, okay, what you did, is it greater than, so this is 1 million now. Is it greater than 1 million? So E6, I already explained it in case those of us, in case some people just join and are surprised, what is the meaning of E6? Instead of me typing 1 and 6 zeros, 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure whether I made a mistake, right? I can rather say 1 E the number of zeros. They mean the same thing. So if this is greater than 1 million, then it is the sales times the bonus attached. So that is one condition. What should happen after? The second condition, and what should happen? We still have a third condition. Third condition is you don't even have up to 1 million. So what do we do? So in this case, you have to write all the conditions. So that's the thing. This one doesn't have like an a false or an else if. So this, if it is less than or equal to 1 million, or less than or equal to 1 million, right? Then the person gets 0. So yes, it's still as long kind of as the sorry, my internet went out for some very, I don't know. I have 2 devices and the other one is still plugged. So anyway, I noticed immediately what happened, so I didn't go far. So let me just repeat the last part I was in. Condition 1, what should happen? Condition 2, what should happen? Condition 3, and then what should happen? So that's the nice thing about the ifs. It's easy to read. It's easy to even write. And we'll get the same answer. Okay, so let's drag it down. So it works the same way. If I come here and this person does 1 error above, you see, it's now getting the 7%. So let's see VLOOKUP. This is the part most people, when they have these scenarios, they seldom think of VLOOKUP. And if I show you VLOOKUP, you'll see that it's, for me, I find it to have a lot more flexibility and it's easier to write for this kind of situation. So let's see how it works. Equal to VLOOKUP. Now, what am I looking for? I'm looking for what you did, your sales, right? So this is your sales. Where am I looking for it in? I'm looking for it in this place, this table now. This is where I have the bonus and the minimum. So there's something I need you to be aware of. I always put the minimum. That's what VLOOKUP uses. It's the minimum. So a range has a lower and upper, right? It's always the minimum, the lower of the range that VLOOKUP needs. Okay, that's the only thing that I see that is like extra information to let you be aware of. Every other thing is kind of straightforward. So make sure you select that minimum. You might not even need the range, but you need the percentage because VLOOKUP needs to use that percentage to multiply the person's actual sales value. So this, now what I want is VLOOKUP should get for me column what? Column 1, 2, 3. The percentage is here. So it should get for me what is in the third column. Now, the other amazing thing or the other special thing to be aware of is, we are familiar with using 0 or false. In this case, we need the approximate because that approximate is what will let VLOOKUP know, when you enter 900, which one is closest to apply, which is the appropriate, approximation to apply. So I'm going to say true. I need you to do an approximate match. Okay, so that's it. And once I do this, it's going to get out for me the percentage. Then I will now say that percentage multiply. So it will get out for me the correct percentage. So I will now say that percentage multiplied by the sales value. And c'est fini. This is it. So let's see it work. Sorry, let me reduce this to here. Remove these labels from it. One, two, three. Oh, yes. I missed out something. You know, there are three conditions, right? So I missed out the third condition, actually. And we need to move this one up. I'll put the third condition here. So if you do between 0 and 1 million, your bonus is 0%. Minimum is 0. So it should be 1 million above 1 million. Sorry. Okay. So let's do it again anyway. So I missed out this one. That's why. So let's just, it's an opportunity to do it again. VLOOKUP. What I am looking for, comma, this. It doesn't matter if you include the label anyway. Right? The explanation I gave us that we need 1, 2, 3, the bonus to apply, which is 3. Then we need it to be approximate, which is true. Then I say times what you actually did, right? So that way it will get for me the appropriate bonus percentage to apply. It multiplies it by your original sales value. And if we drag it down, I'm going to get the same thing. And if I come here and I change this. So now let's talk about which is better, or what's the real difference between all of them. So let's start with difference number 1. This is the normal if, where you're writing an if inside another if. Okay, this for someone who is new in Excel, this is not as easy as it looks. It's when you know how to do it that it comes easy. But at the beginning, this thing can turn your head, like, you know, you will just see that something is going wrong. So I would say this is not easy to use. And sometimes if you don't know how to use this formula, if you're not familiar with if, even to debug, to look at what somebody has done and understand the process can be more difficult with this approach. So let's go to ifs. Ifs is easier, compared to that one. Ifs is easier to read. Why? Condition, what should happen if it is met? Condition, what should happen if it is met? Condition, what should happen if it is met? So anybody can easily grasp that faster than this one where you're writing an if inside an if. You know, it becomes more convoluted with this one. So that's the advantage of this, right? So I tell people, if you have not yet used to this one, don't bother yourself, just learn this one and use it. It's easier to read, it's easier for your users to also debug. Now, this one, this is the best of the 3 options, if you ask me. You can say it's not easy to read because, yes, you're seeing VLOOKUP. It looks shorter, but again, someone who is not very familiar with VLOOKUP, even those who are familiar but who have not used VLOOKUP in this kind of scenario, they'll be thrown off their feet. So we can say easy to read is not the strength of this, but let me show you the strength of this. Imagine we have like 6 conditions. Just imagine we have 6 conditions, and which happens in real life, which means, you have another one where you are saying 5 million. By the way, that 5 million that I said 5 is 6. Why? See? I wrote 5 is 6 and million came out. So 0.01. This is what I mean by it is scientific. See, can you see that up here? It's showing as scientific. I'll just tell it you should bring my stuff back to number, or I should just do comma style. Let me just make it like this one. So imagine we have, another one where we're saying these, let's even say we have like 4 conditions, right? 10 million. And we now have 15 million. We will now say above 15 million. Or 15 million and above. Above 15 million is the correct grammar. And this one is above 2 million. Above 2 million. This should be 2. What's happening to my English today? Above 1 million, but to 2 million. Above 2 million, right? But to 5 million. And then above 5 million, but to 10 million. And then above 10 million, but to 15 million. And then maybe this one will be 10%, maybe this one will be 12%, and maybe this one will be 14%. Okay, I tell you, with this number of conditions, let's try it now. Let's see. So you see how one we suffer with each of these approach. So let's try all the approaches. If this is, so remember what I said, start from an extreme. Always pick an extreme and start from it. So if I'm picking an extreme, I also say start from the upper range. So pick an extreme. So which means I start from the greater than 15 million. Greater than 15 million. Okay. So greater than 15 is 6. What should happen? You should take this. You should multiply it by 14%, right? So that it will be easy for you to read. Let me just write it manually. Now it's not about, it's more about you grasping it rather than me trying to be dynamic. So if I go to the next one, this is greater than, what's the next one? 10 million. 10 is 6, right? Then you should take this, multiply it by 12%, because that's the 12%, right? And then, if. So you see how the ifs are getting more, right? If it's greater than 5 million, 5 is 6, right? If you take what the person did, it should multiply it by what percentage now? That should be 10%, right? Comma, another if, right? What he has done, right? If it's greater than what now? 2 million, 2 is 6, right? If you take what he has done, right, you should multiply it by, 2 million now is 7%, 7%, right? And then if, what he has done is greater than, now we are at the last part of it now, 1 million, 1 is 6. Then you should take what he has done. I hope your eyes are not turning you now. Even my own eyes are beginning to want to start turning. Times 0%, so no, 5%. 5%. Otherwise, the person gets 0. I will now start closing all the many brackets until I get a black one. So it's because I'm used to this. Imagine you are not used to this and you're having to type this, as one of the first use case of it for you. This is going to be really daunting. You will need help to be able to get this. So I'm going to do enter. Let's even see if what I've done is correct, right? Or look at it. Condition 1, what should happen? Another if. Condition 2, what should happen? Another if. condition 3, what should happen? Another if condition 4, what should happen? Another if condition 5, what should happen? And then condition 6. So if you count it, how many conditions do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's see. If I drag it down, I think it is working. Anyway, it will work. Just trust me. So let's do this one. So if I'm using this approach, ifs, so similar, condition 1. So I start from an extreme 2. If this is greater than, let me just be typing it, 15 million, 15 is 6. What should happen? Take what you have done, multiply it by 14%. Let me just memorize 14, 12, 10, 7, 5. Then condition 2, what you have done. So this one does not need another bracket. That's the thing that makes this one kind of easier than the if they are nesting inside themselves. So if this is greater than 12 million, let me just confirm. No, 10 million. This is greater than 10 million, right? Then take what you have done, right? Multiply it by 12%. So that's condition 2. Condition 3, we are going to 6 conditions. Imagine if this is greater than 5 million, and take what he has done, multiply it by, what's the percentage now? 10%. 10%, right? And then condition 4, if what you have done, right, is greater than 2 million, then take what he has done, multiply it by 7%, and comma, conditions, what now? 5. What he has done, is it greater than 1 million? If it is greater than 1 million, take what he has done, multiply it by 5%, right? Then condition 6, what he has done, is he less than or equal to 1 million? In that case, you get 0. So this one, you're not having multiple brackets, but you still have condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, condition 4, condition 5, condition 6. Voilà. So if I've not made any error, we should get the same thing. Okay, so that's looking reassuring. Now, the beautiful part of all of this, check out VLOOKUP. You're going to love VLOOKUP. So see, VLOOKUP, what you have done. Now, in this whole range of conditions, so what's the really different thing now? My range has grown. Before, my range was up to here. Now, my range is no longer up to here. My range is now this. So that's the only thing that is going to change in my VLOOKUP, right? And then I say you should get me 1, 2, 3, the bonus percentage, right? Then you should approximate, right? Then you should multiply that bonus percentage with what the person has done. And that's it. And that is it. So if I have 20 conditions, I'm done with this one. All I just do is select those 20 conditions, right? See? Now, can you see the advantage of the VLOOKUP? So when I have all those, I have scores, I want to convert them to, I don't know, CGPA, one of our lecturers once gave us a task like that to do in Excel. That was, I think, my first encounter with Excel in university. Oh boy, come and see how we were all sweating on it. All of us were doing it manually. But now, if I have something like that, where you say if you score between 0 to 39, F, 40 to 44, E, 45 to 49, D, 50 to 59, C, 60 to 69, B, 70 and above, A. All those kind of calculations, or where I'm converting them to GPA, where I'm multiplying them by stuff like that. So anyway, VLOOKUP can help. That's what I want to say. So that's the end of my explaining this if. It's a very wonderful formula, when you have conditions, right? And when you have more than one condition, you might start considering ifs. And if your conditions are like a range, VLOOKUP can just be your godsend. Any questions on this one before I move to the next important formula in mind that I have planned for us? Any question? Any comment? Any opinion? Any feedback? I can go on, right? Okay. So if you change your mind, you want to draw my attention, feel free. While you are thinking about what you want about my question, I can go on to another important one. So I tell people that this is an accountant's formula. Count if, sum if, especially sum if. You can't have a trial balance and you want to pull out financial statement or some financial analysis and you're not using sum if. I don't know what you are doing. No. Even that trial balance, to do the trial balance from the general ledger download, you will use sum if. Then you're working with bank statements. You want to extract bank charges. You want to extract money that were paid for a particular kind of expense. Me, I think sum if should be one of those things you should first think of. It's only when you see that it won't work before you start sweating yourself for another option. So let's first even learn it. Let's learn it, in a neutral way. Then we see how we can turbocharge it. So let me just delete what I have here. So I have a good announcement to make anyway. So I had a bouncing baby girl this week on Tuesday. I had to go and wash my face before this session because I had not slept since yesterday. But it's a joy. I was thinking maybe she would join me in this. I was thinking maybe I will bring her in so you hear her voice, but she has to be sleeping. So let's start with CountifSum and sum if. Let's start with what's this data I want to use for illustration. Pizza. These are like transactions. In fact, you could think of this pizza in your own case. Now, this could be general ledger numbers. This could be account descriptions. This could be cost center. This could be cost category. This could be anything. It could be distributors, vendors, customers, anything that for you is meaningful as a descriptor, as a description of the transaction. And then here, yeah, thank you, sir. And then here is the money, the value attached, right? So let's start with, I want to see how many times we incurred a transaction for this entity. How many times did we do ABC? How many times did something happen? So in this case, how many times did we sell barbecue chicken? So how many times, did we have barbecue chicken as an item that was bought? We are not considering how much did we make yet. But the fact that, we use this vendor 20 times, that's why we are paying the vendor 20 times, right? But our bank charges, we got like 20. If you're a large company, you could get bank charges that are multiple times, and you might start thinking of how you can consolidate some of these your payments so that it reduces. But the key thing is count. I just want to count how many times a particular transaction occurred. In that case, I'm going to say count if. Zoom it. Count if. So as the name says now, count if it is what I'm interested in. So I want you to count in this place of all of these records, right? I want you to count for me all these records, all this place, which I've selected already, I want Excel to count for me, count for me where it is this item that is there. So every time it comes across that item, barbecue chicken, it counts it and tells me the full total count. So that is it. It's that straightforward, right? I'll show you where it's interesting, but that's it. That's count if. Now, sum if. Sum if is similar. So again, the range where all those items or descriptors or vendors or cost category or cost center or whatsoever is important to you, that range, of that thing, comma. So which one are you exactly interested in? I'm interested in barbecue chicken. So now in our case, we are not just trying to count how many times. We want to say Excel should sum up for us all the money, the value. So what's the total value of transactions for that particular transaction type? So that's this one, where the money and the value are. And that's it. That's the end. I close the bracket. I do enter. So that's it, right? And I drag down. So let's now talk about what's amazing about this thing. What's the special thing that you can use it for? So let me go and let me pull up a a, a practice data I have. That already has a very nice data that we can use. So instead of me wasting time trying to copy something. Mm. Uh, I did it for this Bangladesh Excel. Bangladesh Excel Summit. Maybe it's in my download. Wow. No problem. I can go open it from my email, from my inbox. Sometimes I see what I'm looking for faster in my inbox than Bangladesh. That's attachment. Okay, good. This is it. Okay, so that countif and sum if, just keep it what I've done. Keep it at the back of your mind. Oh, gotta open something now. Let me even save it once and for all because I think I will need it again. Okay, good. Go and open it. Browse documents. Some entries is making noise. Okay, that's opened. Okay, so look at this now. So this is bank statements, right? Transaction date, debit, credit, balance, category. Well, this doesn't come in most bank statements. But anyway, let's say you told somebody to do this. So if I want to see all the total money I spent in restaurants, right? Remember some if the range. So the range is where all these categories are. So I want to see which category is restaurant. So that's my range. Okay. So now that I've specified the range, what am I interested in? I'm interested in a restaurant, right? Then where should we go and gather the money? So since these are money that are leaving my account, so debit in my own case, following our bank statement. So that's it, right? So once I do this, I get how much I spent on restaurants. This is a lot. But anyway, this is fictitious anyway. So this is straightforward. Everybody understands this. Now, what's the problem? The problem is that this is not the way bank statements come. Bank statements don't come with your own internally relevant category classification. So this category is not there. It's never really in a bank statement, except somebody will sit down and start classifying this transaction one by one, which I don't think you should be doing if you are any reasonably sized company. Okay, so now what are the situations we want? I want to see how much total VAT we paid, how much total stamp duties, right? So if you come here, okay, in the description, you will see it in the remarks or description. VAT, stamp duty, they are there, cash withdrawal, transfer to, like I was doing something for ICANN, and in their own case, they tell members to pay in their description when they are transferring for payment, they should put their membership number. Some people don't understand. They think, don't worry, I won't put it out. I'll just send the screenshot of the payment. They will see it now. Shebi just want to see. It's not because of that. The reason is so that at the end of the month, when they are doing their financial analysis, it will help them. So they'll be able to know how much money came in from members, as dues paid. Why? Because they will do what I'm going to do, where you'll be looking for that person's membership number. You don't care if there are other things attached to it. As long as that membership number is there, then zoom, boom, that is a membership payment from that person. So that's how sometimes they will even know who has paid or who is still owing. Well, let's start with cash withdrawal. I want to everything that is cash withdrawal. Let's look at it. This is cash withdrawal, right? This is cash withdrawal. These two, they are cash withdrawal. So this is it. This is one. Let's look. I don't usually withdraw cash, so that's why they are not that many. Here's another cash withdrawal. Why am I always withdrawing like two times? Anyway, you get the whole idea. This is not going to be helpful if I'm going to be doing them one by one. So I would rather want to do a formula that will look for cash withdrawal and just sum them up. So you say, okay, now let's use if, sum if. Again, what's the range? Where will I find all those meaningful descriptions? They are here. So this is the range. This is the range, the max. Okay, so that is my range. And then, what am I looking for? Anything that has cash withdrawal, right? And then, I need it to get for me the total money, the debits, the money I took out as cash withdrawal. And you'll be like, that's it. And I do enter. And it's not getting me anything. And I can see with my eyes that I have cash withdrawals, but my formula is not getting me anything. Why? Why is my formula not getting me anything? It's because it will only get me, it's looking for cash withdrawal as the only thing inside that cell. Let me explain. If we delete all these extra explanations that are here, you see that it has gotten me that 10,000, right? If I come here and I delete all those extra explanations, right, it gets me, But again, that's work. Yes, I can use find and replace, but I know that I don't have to. What if I need those extra information another day? Or anyway, I know I can do it without having to scatter my data, right? So what is me doing it without having to scatter my data? Transform it. Tell Excel that as long as it contains, so how do I say it contains? Star. So before what you are looking for, you say star, anything, cash, withdraw, and anything after it. So anything before it, anything after it. That's the way to say it contains. Okay, so the moment I say this, and I do like that for everything that I'm interested in that might not be sitting alone in that description column, right? When I do my formula and I say instead of using this one, you should use this guy. That's it. I'm using this as my criteria, what I'm checking for. You will see that it will get the correct answer, and it's going to get everything out correctly for me. So this is something I tell people who work with account reconciliation, bank statement. This, it might not solve all the problem, but if it solves 50%, that's 50%. That is, you type one formula, is over. You can now take the other 50% and be doing whatever tedious approach you do, but it reduces the amount of time you spend, trying to manually reconcile everything. It might not solve all your problems, but anything it solves is worth it, way, way worth it, well worth it. So is it clear? Is anybody wanting me to do it all over? Maybe I should just do it one more time. That, see, sum if. This is where we're going to end today anyway. In the criteria range. So it's this place, remark, where I have all those explanations that models up what I want with something else that I can't even predict, So that criteria range, that's that place, comma, what criteria am I interested in? Ordinarily, you will say you're interested in this. No, it will not work. This will only work if that's the only thing in that column, in the cells in that column. So now, say as long as it contains cash withdrawal. So that's why you put star before, star after. So then the sum range, this range of values to sum up, that's the debit column. And that, my friends, is it. So clear? So this is where we are going to draw the curtain today. Any questions, any comments, any opinions? And thank you for all the congratulations message. Thank you very much. So any question? I've come to the end. Or opinion or suggestion. In the absence of any question, just to remind us, we have 2 other sessions coming up today. 2 other sessions coming up today. Let me give us the link. So there will be an Excel session, then there will be a Power BI session. Power BI. So I'm going to give us the link so that you can join. So for the Excel, we have one guru all the way from US. So Jordan Goldmere, he's going to be talking about how you make a career in Excel. So you find it really, really interesting. Let me copy his details for us. Notepad. All right. Join via at 4 p.m. RSVP at, let me just paste that here. Then we have another one for, so my colleague Temida is going to be talking about pandas, data manipulation in pandas. This one is at 6 p.m. And RSVP at, so pandas is a Python data analysis stuff. So this year we are deliberately including Python in a lot of our sessions, but we don't want to create it as a standalone series or webinar series. Otherwise, we do one 2 p.m., 4 p.m. Maybe we'll not do another one at 8 p.m. Doesn't make sense. So squeeze it in between Excel and Power BI. So one other thing I need from us is feedback. Help me with the feedback. I'd like to have your feedback. And if you have Thank you, Mr. Sadiq. And if you have any speaker you like us to bring on board or you want to speak, like I said, this is the nicest audience we can speak to. See, we are not that many. So this is a way for you to build up your own speaking profile. Let me use it that way. Because if you're going to go and speak also in a bigger crowd, maybe foreign audience, sometimes those people too want to have comfort that have you spoken somewhere before? You can add it. You can say, oh, they can check up the YouTube link. That's why we also post this. You can say they should check out your session that you've done. More importantly too, it helps you to know better what you know. So everything you know, if you think it's small, if you teach people about it, you know it in a bigger way, and you like it more, you will not forget it, and people will thank you. And there's a whole lot of positive things with when you teach. So please, if you would like to become a guest, to be, like I said, we've had all kinds of guests. People who they are new, is what they just learned recently, they are teaching us. We are all Nigerians. Nigeria is tough. You don't have to be making life difficult for somebody that wants to share knowledge with us. If you speak and you are making errors, we will be quiet, we will listen, you will correct yourself, we will watch it, nobody will be judgmental. And if you are a pro already too, same too, to be a speaker, email webinar at UrBizEdge.com, and we'll be happy to take it up from there. So thank you very, very, very much. Remember what I said, if you want to take the exam, if you want to take the FMI exam and you need a discount code, this is it. And also reach out to us if you want to do the mock exam so that we ensure that we get you a spot. So have a very wonderful rest of the Sunday. Thank you for joining me today. And thank you for all the congratulations. Bye. Thank you.